What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another Bucks on Deck podcast episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the Bubba Chandler, his start, some new stuff that I saw there from him, and we finally have a win for the Altoona Curve. Kind of give a rundown of the entire system, who's doing good, who's some of the top performers from the Knights and stuff like that. But first thing I wanted to start with Bubba Chandler. Pirates had a big 5-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Chandler threw 6 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits and a walk. Only 3 strikeouts, but I think it was still a very encouraging outing. Dialed it back a little bit on the fastball. Only hit 100 twice, and I mean his fastball velocity is still up there. It's just what didn't seem as max effort and all out like he had been in previous starts, and it definitely looked like he was in more control. The walks sadly showed that. He ran into a little bit of a trouble in the 6th inning, but still showed some good grit there to get out of it. I think the thing that kind of stood out to me the most, and this is kind of what I wanted to spend, I don't know if it's going to be the majority of the time, but a good chunk of the time here talking about, is it kind of seems like he worked backwards a little bit more and was a little more effective working backwards, at least setting up his setting up the fastball, which is his best pitch, which is going to be his best strikeout pitch. But it's also a pitch that he's probably doesn't throw in the he's not going to throw in the strike zone much. It's going to kind of hope that he's going to chase. So I think with that kind of thing, it's going to be that much more important that he is able to throw his secondary pitches for strikes, and we saw a lot of that there. It does look like he's throwing a sweeper now. Stuff Plus models are picking up 2 different sliders there. The sweeper's averaging a little over 8 inches of horizontal vert. His original slider is a little bit more of a gyro slider with less horizontal break. The sweeper got 8 called strikes. The changeup 1 called strike, and then the slider got 2 called strikes. I think, and then both the sliders were able to get. They were thrown into the zone quite a bit. I know the fastball still kind of struggled as far as keeping it in the zone, but if he can get ahead and get some of these called strikes with the breaking ball, with the slider, with the sweeper, if that's what it is, even with the changeup, he has a history of being able to show that he can throw the changeup for strikes, can throw it out of the zone too to get some misses, but like I said, the fastball may not be, just because of the natural movement in the pitch. There's a lot of ride to it. It gets a lot of induced vertical break. Just may not be something that he's going to be able to consistently throw in the zone. So having now multiple pitches, and then not just that, it's been the changeup that I've always said is the best of his secondary pitch. And the changeup, the way that is with the fade and all that, more of like a horizontal pitch. So to have the sweeper now, that's going to give a more east to west feel as far as the arsenal goes, I think that can unlock a whole new kind of thing for him. And I'm sure that the strikeouts will start coming as he starts to kind of get comfortable with everything, and he knows how everything plays. So, but haven't seen anyone ask him, like, as far as like the sweeper and slider, to see if it is like 2 different pitches that he's using. It's from the horizontal movement, it looks very much like it's 2 different pitches. So we'll kind of see if someone kind of fills this in and maybe can get some insight on what he's trying to do there, and if that's the case. And but very encouraging start. Like, Bubba has, next to Paul Skeens, like the biggest upside in the rotation, It's just a kind of matter of getting everything to click, and I think we kind of saw. I don't want to say for the first time, probably for the first time this year, we saw Bubba the pitcher as opposed to Bubba the thrower, and the results speak for themselves. He picks up his first win of the year, keeps the Rays off the board, holds them to only the 1 run, and so a big step there. Now the Pirates will have Paul Skeens and Mitch Keller on the mound the rest of the weekend to try to get another series win after like that last. I mean, they split a 4-game series against the Nats, who just swept the Milwaukee Brewers, but the way that last game ended kind of I'd have to believe left a little bit of a sour taste in their mouths. So it's good to kind of get right back on the right track here with that. But now we're going to shift over to the minor league side. Out of all 5 of the teams that played yesterday, Indianapolis is the only one that didn't win. So I'm not going to go too much details into the game, but I did want to talk about the feature for today. We'll talk a little bit about Esmeralda Valdez and the kind of progress that he's made as far as becoming a better, more rounded hitter. And the walk rate, he's walking more than he's striking out right now. 81% zone contact rate, a 20% chase rate. So like the swing decisions and like the strike zone judgment, the strike zone awareness is taking a whole nother level this year. And like usually sometimes when you see that, especially when you get up to the upper levels, maybe the power doesn't play as much. Like the power now is looking like it might be on a whole new level. Like it might have graded up in the off season. I know Baseball America had an article on their StatCast standouts that kind of alluded to that, but Valdez has a 57% hard hit rate, 20% barrel rate, and a 109.4 EV90, 90th percentile exit velocity, which that's we're talking 70 grade raw power there, and now you're talking 70 grade raw power from a guy who has his zone contact rate over 80% and doesn't chase. Like, I know it was like your Stinson Garcia, the guy that kind of everyone assumed was kind of kick down the door and force his way onto the major league roster. And especially with Marcell Ozuna hitting now, I don't know exactly where you fit Valdez in here yet. Especially, I mean, like the easy answer would probably be, like Nick York, because you could play Valdez at first base as well, but you're still not looking at like everyday at bats. But like it's starting to look like whatever the plan was, Valdez may force you at least to reconsider or try to rethink that plan for this year and try to get this in, because Pirates are doing really well and Ozuna's starting to hit. I think you would still ideally like to see another right-handed bat that can slug a little. That would be really big. Like I said, though, it's just it's hard right now to kind of find a place where that kind of fits for him. Now we're looking at shift to Double-A. First win of the season. Altoona was the only of the minor league affiliates to yet win a game. They come from behind against Portland. Kind of look close, like things might have gone the wrong way, but Mitch Jebb, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, an RBI, a walk, and 3 stolen bases. Callum Moss, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Now, obviously, if a team's 0-11 going into the day, you're not probably going to have too many top performers. But Callum Moss, he's had a fairly strong start to the year. He's hitting 261, 364, 391 with a home run and 3 doubles. He has a swing and strike rate under 10%. It's good to see. Solid contact rate. Haven't seen too much of a drop off as far as the contact rate compared to it's the brief time that he was in Greensboro. He was kind of a guy that he's a right-handed first baseman, so those guys never fare too well on the prospect ranking side. A college guy, so probably going to want to wait to see how he did in Altoona, and like he's one of the few guys that you can probably say has fared pretty well. I mean, it's still maybe some more that you want to see, but all things considered, very solid start to the year. Greensboro keeps winning. Greensboro 3-2. Connor Oliver took threw 5 no-hit innings. That's 2 guys in the system that threw 5 inning no-hitters. We'll get to the other one here in a bit. 63 pitches, 43 for strikes, 10 whiffs. That's a 15.8 swing and strike rate. Oliver, he's always been kind of a guy that's kind of struck me as like, you look at the TrackMan plot, you look at the Stuff Plus models, and you can kind of see what the Pirates like with him. Almost like Bailey Falter light, in a sense that, not an overpowering fastball, but he gets ride and gets good extension on the pitch. So probably not a guy that you're gonna see in the majors, but like he's the minor league version of Bailey Falter. He gets innings. He logs innings. He's been kind of, him and Hungling Chang have kind of worked into like a piggyback thing where they're one last week Chang started, this week Oliver started. I think the first week Oliver started too, so they're kind of going back and forth. They're actually able to save the bullpen, and those two just kind of pitched the entire game. On the hitting side, Lonnie White Jr., 2 for 5 with a triple and a home run. Home run was his 4th of the season. He's hitting 286, 362, 612 with 7 extra base hits and 4 stolen bases. It's not hard if you sit down and watch a Greensboro Grasshopper game, and he's been this is his 3rd year in High A. So I mean, performance-wise, take it for what it will for a 3rd-year guy in High A ball, but you go to a game, you sit down, you watch him play, and it doesn't take too many games to just see the talent. The raw power is there, the speed is there. He's an incredible defender in the outfield, has a strong arm. I mean, I think, like, I had a good laugh about it in the group chat, saying that, all the talk was about the Pirates outfield. And like last week, I was in Greensboro, and I was, ironically, like, that's some of the best outfield defense that I've seen played between him, Polanco, even Brian Sanchez, Lonnie White, all of them played fantastic defensively in the outfield. So the talent's always been there. It's just a matter of, can he make more contact? And the contact rate is noticeably up. Smaller sample size, yes, but the contact rate is up over 70%. It's been in the 60s every year that he's been in Greensboro. And then the swing and strike rate is down. I think it's like about 6%. So he'll definitely, I mean, with the struggling that Altoona's had, like, I think you would love to see Lonnie get a chance to kind of get pushed to Altoona and kind of see what he can do there. Last team, I mean, probably save the best for last. Seth Hernandez, 5 innings, no hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Threw 67 pitches, 41 for strikes. And I feel like he only walked 2, and he was dominant. Didn't allow a hit. But this was probably, I mean, obviously, worst is not the greatest choice of words because he didn't allow a hit. But as far as commanding in the zone or keeping it in the zone, I think this was probably the one where he looked the most like a 19-year-old playing in, his first couple starts in pro ball. missed on the fastball quite a bit. I think the fastball had like a very low strike zone rate in general. He was only in the zone 32% of the time, right at 33%. But the difference maker is the fact that like the stuff is so good that he just gets so many whiffs with the pitches. Looking at a breakdown right now, the fastball the fastball is the only one that he's allowed to hit on. No one has gotten hit off any of his other secondary pitches. But the fastball whiff rate at 47% is the worst whiff rate that he has of any of his four pitches. 75 for the slider, 87 for the curveball, and 66% for the changeup. His stuff is just you watch him and it's like there's no way that this kid is making his third professional start and he's 19. Like the pitchability, I'm pulling up my tablet right now so I can pull up some of the notes that I was taking during the game on him. So he against the righties, he was kind of like in the first inning he was working like the fastball on the outer half of the plate, and so he was going east, and then he'd come back in with the slider. And the confidence that he has with that changeup, and like we heard about the changeup being potentially the best pitch in the draft class last year. The confidence and the feel he has for that pitch is so far beyond anyone I've seen at the low A level. I've been doing this for a long time, but he's thrown righty on righty changeups to where he's working it almost like a reverse slider, to where he's starting it on towards the left-handed hitter's batter's box and working it back into the strike zone and getting enough of the zone to either get a swing and miss on it or it would be like a called strike. And the confidence to be able to feel comfortable to move that pitch into the zone like that against a right-handed hitter, it's just it does, like I said, it doesn't feel like he's 19 years old and this was his third professional start. Like the pitchability, just his feel for all four of his pitches, it's just incredible. I don't know when he's going to get promoted. I don't know what the kind of time frame they're on. I guess it all kind of depends on kind of the innings that he's throwing, how many innings they're going to throw. But like, this is what, 9 innings. He hasn't given up a hit in his last 2 starts. Like it's going to get silly at a point because I still feel like there's a lot that he could have taken away from the start to kind of build towards the next one. And we'll kind of see what kind of improvements that's made. The Bradenton has a 6-man rotation right now, so it looks like he's going to pitch every Friday. And we'll see how the following start goes. Last person I wanted to get into real quick, Murf Gray. Murf, he's been off to a fantastic start. I think he's batting like 400 right now. But it's been the quality contact that he's been making, and I wanted to pull up some of the information that I posted on Twitter today. First, against fastballs, he's batting. This is before the 3-hit game that he had on Friday. 458 average, 792 slug, 20% whiff, 47% hard hit rate. The barrel rate's a little bit low. Probably want to see that get up. But he's, and the expected numbers aren't that wild. 518 expected slug, 345 expecting batting average. Now against breaking pitches, it's only a 267 average, which isn't horrible for a breaking stuff. But 600 slug, that's backed up by a 590 expected slug. 31 whiff rate, maybe you want to see that come down a little bit, but that's livable to an extent. 95 mile an hour average exit velocity, 60% hard hit rate, 30% barrel rate. So you want to see more contact out of that. But that quality contact off breaking pitches, and you see it when he's hitting. I'll have some. I'm gonna do some sort of video breakdown that probably for next week. It's just been impressive, and I know he's a college hitter in low A, but still, the quality of contact that we've been seeing from him has been incredible, and he's a guy that I talked about pre-draft. It started out as a joke because of the name, and it's kind of slowly worked into, no, this guy's actually pretty good. I don't think it's. I hate to be the promote him now thing because but I don't see low A being that much of a challenging point for him for too much longer. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. As always, subscribe. Bucks on Deck Substack. Daily features. Pirates season's in full swing. We're going to have the Complex League here soon, so we're going to start previewing that a little bit. Up and down coverage on the Pirates minor league system. I just got back from a trip from Greensboro. Did a couple features on Wyatt Sanford. I'll have more stuff on that in the coming weeks. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.